Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And for those who are new here, I am Psychic Bella Love. Make sure that you are subscribed if you are not, because I know YouTube unsubscribes people all the time. But also that way you can keep up, because I do post videos weekly. Last week I didn't get to because my kid was sick, but we're making up for that now. I do have more readings on the way, and if you would like to have access to my daily content, weekly lives, all kinds of information about the Illuminati, what really goes down in Hollywood, and all that kind of stuff, make sure that you head on over to patreon.com/psychicbellalove. You can join for as little as $3 a month and get all the tea. So we're taking a look at Garcelle leaving the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I had to go watch the final part of the reunion to see what happened, since there was all these rumors, going around that her and Boz got into it, that something happened that made her walk off, but it was a little bit anticlimactic. It was just at the end where it was like, I don't want to toast with everybody and take this picture. I'm done. So we're looking at, why did she do this, and what are her, feelings about everything, and how is she going to move forwards from here? Spirit is saying, that first little announcement that we got from her that she was leaving sounded pretty, right? That it was like, oh, I want to go spend more time with my kids, and I have other things that I'm working on. However, obviously, I don't know that any of us really necessarily buy the PR spin story so much now that we've seen, sort of how things went down. This is the thing that Spirit was saying, when I was just, getting into the energy of all of this so that I could read on this situation, was that Garcelle, this last season, probably the last 2 seasons, I would say, she didn't need the show anymore. It's like she got in, she used it to her advantage to get those production deals with NBC Universal and to kind of reignite, her career. But it's like the last 2 seasons, she may have felt, and this is sort of, I think, a trap that a lot of people can fall into anyways, but especially in Hollywood, where, you kind of feel like you have to keep a certain job just because it's like, well, this is guaranteed income. And at least I know that I'm getting this amount of money every year for being on this show, and being fearful of sort of taking chances. But what Spirit is saying is that it was actually going to hurt her wallet anyways for her to stay on the show. Not in the sense of that people were going to stop liking her and supporting her, but because it does take up so much time to film each year that it's like she couldn't be filming her movies. Trying to be in pre or post production on any of these projects, was also difficult if she was filming. So it was like getting in the way of all the other things that she could be doing, creating movies for Lifetime or TV shows or any of the other stuff. And so now that she's not going to have this in the way, I actually do pick up her making more money and being able to be involved in more things. So if Garcelle was sort of nervous, because I do get this feeling of her being nervous about giving this amount of money up. And it's not like, oh my God, it was like life changing or anything, right? It's just about having that steady income where it's like, I think for all of us, like you might have a day job and then you're a content creator at night. And it's like the content creation is making more money than the day job. And the day job is getting in the way because it's like if you didn't work the day job, you could sit at home and create content all day long and make even more money off of that. But then being like, what if things take a dip? At least I have the 9 to 5 to still know that every 2 weeks I'm getting a paycheck. And so I do feel like, especially because she's got boys that are going to college, she, has multiple homes now. It's like there was this sort of worry for her because Spirit's talking about her honestly dreading or feeling in the like that little pit in your stomach that she didn't even want to come back and film this past season. However, it was like, weighing out the pros and the cons and her kind of convincing herself like, no, it's okay because I have steady income from this and I can just work around it. But those fears are unfounded. You've actually like removed this time waster, but also this energy block. And now like the financial floodgates can actually open up more. So we're going to see Garcelle actually like go beyond just producing Lifetime movies. Not that she's not going to continue to do those, but I do see her actually producing more of a big budget feature, that ends up gaining a lot of traction and a lot of steam and sort of pushes her to that next level as being seen as a really serious producer to where more people in Hollywood want to work with her and actually get her directing some stuff too. So maybe even like a music video for somebody. But this is going to work out really good for her, honestly. I don't know why I keep getting her working with Janet Jackson on something. Like, but it's not Janet Jackson is in the music video, but I feel like Garcelle puts out a really great film and Janet plays a part in it, kind of gets back in her acting bag. So she has really good things coming for her down the pipeline career-wise. Also, she's going to end up meeting somebody through all of this too. I feel like there is a guy that she's going to meet coming up. Feels like it's before the end of this year. And this is somebody that if she wants to get remarried, she definitely can. I don't feel like, see, this is the thing. Like Spirit's just saying she let so much of this show block her from like so many other places in her life. As much as people might have wanted to drag her, aka Erica Jane, saying certain things like, oh, you're boring or you're not putting enough of yourself on TV or who are you dating? But it's like at the same time, I also feel like Garcelle didn't really want to date anybody while she was on the show because she knew it's either going to be that I have to bring you on or that people are going to figure it out and talk about it. And then I'm going to kind of be in that Kyle situation where, everybody's like, why aren't you talking about your relationship? It's obvious you're dating this person. Why aren't you sharing that with everybody? And so for her, it was like dreading that and not wanting that part of her life having to be shared. So it was easier for her to just not date. Or even if she did, like it was like subconsciously picking somebody I can't be serious with, or I don't really see this going anywhere with, because again, I don't want to bring that part of my life on camera in a reality setting and then have people constantly speculating about it and possibly causing problems in it. So she's going to meet a man, and he's going to be this King of Pentacles that puts her up in a space where she can really be in her divine feminine energy. I do feel it's a white man, and I do feel like he I mean, I'm saying he's a bit older. I don't know exactly how old Garcelle is, but I mean, he's middle aged, but very cute middle aged, like kept his looks, kind of like how George Clooney has still managed to be handsome and didn't lose all his looks in his older years. So with Garcelle, it's like her whole life opens up by leaving this. Because the spirit keeps showing me, I'm just channeling like the justice card from the tarot deck, and it's like making the right decision, and then everything that you have been wanting really opens up for you because you don't have this cloud of negativity or this idea that like, oh, this part of my life is going to be so negatively affected that I don't even want to explore that. So as far as why did she leave? What was this tipping point? Because Spirit's saying she already had that gut feeling like, I don't know if this is really for me anymore. And she knew that, I believe, every 5 seasons or something is when they renegotiate their contracts. And so Spirit's saying she sort of had this thing in the back of her head of, if they don't offer me enough, then that's my sign to go. But if they go above and beyond and offer me this really great salary, then maybe I'll come back. But, when we're already in that place where we start bargaining with ourselves and looking for signs to confirm to us, it's kind of like listen to your intuition at that point and understand that maybe there's a reason why you're feeling like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. And it's because you don't want, really deep down inside, it's not for you. 100% Spirit is saying, she walked into the reunion already annoyed, right? Because they get to see the final episodes right before they go sit down and film. And Spirit is saying through watching everything back, she really did, like she was already starting to open up her eyes, especially when we were in the trip to St. Lucia and she was, telling Kyle, hey, it's really important to Sutton to have your friendship and that you have her back. And Kyle, of course, had to freak out and turn it around and why do I have to and this and that and completely miss the point that Garcelle was trying to make to her, which was really Sutton finds your friendship super important to her and more important than anybody else's, and she just wants to see like you accept her was really I think what Garcelle was trying to say, but she wasn't trying to be like, oh, Sutton's a needy mess. However, Spirit saying that she'd already started to really question her relationship with Sutton at that point. And is this girl really my friend? But she still, it's like, it would have broken her heart, to really have to accept that, like, maybe Sutton didn't see our friendship as important, or maybe she was using me, or maybe, I just got this whole thing wrong. But watching all the episodes back and having to see it from the perspective that I think a lot of us saw it as, which was just like, girl, you cut yourself off so much going so hard for Sutton. Like I was talking about this with Dario the other day, that we were both saying like, as much as we could all say that we don't like Erica or this or that, at the end of the day, it's entertainment, right? And Erica's on the damn show. Like, I honestly think it would have been kind of fun to see Garcelle and Erica build a friendship and see where that could have gone. Like maybe them going out together and just hanging out, going shopping, doing something. But she tied herself to the most hysterical and boring person on the cast outside of Kyle. and was constantly acting as her bodyguard, mouthpiece, only friends, and that isolated her a lot from the rest of the cast because of it, because she was constantly fighting Sutton's battles with these women. And then they were excluding her because they didn't like Sutton. And, you know, the thing that I was thinking about listening to the recaps of all of these reunions and then watching this last part of the reunion wasn't it Erica that told Garcelle Sutton's a liability? And it's like, I think that became so true. Maybe not in the same way that Erica intended it when those words came out of her mouth. However, I do think that did end up happening, where it's like, yes, Sutton is a liability because she kept Garcelle from having her own separate experience on this show away from her, and kept her from making those friends and having different storylines, and constantly putting her in the line of fire, you know, whether she was just getting secondhand crap thrown her way because of Sutton or because she was fighting Sutton's battles for her. And so Spirit is saying that watching this season back, it's like it finally hit her. Like, did last season, the season before, the season before that? No, unfortunately. But this season, really, like, she really saw that Sutton doesn't have her back and that she's a very self-centered person, and that she's always going to, no matter what, she's never going to open up her eyes and be like, hey, you have other friendships of these people who really do care about you, like Jennifer Tilly, like Garcelle, even Kathy Hilton. But you're so stuck on trying to get the approval of Kyle and Dorit and Erica, you know, and saying that she just wanted to be a Barbie like them, I get was also a pivotal moment for Garcelle to see and understand that Sutton really, truly, at the end of the day, just wants to be one of them. And she doesn't want to be her own person and stand alone. And that's why she's never going to be able to recognize the real, true friends that she has. And Garcelle definitely came in there with this feeling of, today is going to make or break that for me. And I think that when they did have that break and Sutton came in her dressing room to see how she was, and Garcelle's like, yeah, it's been really tough. And then Sutton immediately starts, oh my God, everybody hates me and they're so mean to me, and starts making it about her. Spirit is saying that was the end of it for Garcelle, where she just realized, I've put myself out alone on this island for you, and you're trying to swim to shore and leave me behind on the damn island. And now I'm going to go back out there and get dragged some more. And you're not defending me, and you're not going to defend me. And I think that she was just, that was her point where she was done. So as far as like other rumors going, that she wanted, or that she had some sort of talk with Andy Cohen and that things didn't go the way that she wanted them to. And so she was already resigned, or that they'd already decided that she was done before the filming started. Spirit is saying no. Spirit is saying that there was a discussion because production did want to strip Sutton of any alliances that she did have, because they know that the season was pretty much incredibly boring, and things have been stale and boring for a while. And we know that it sort of ends up being with these shows, and this is why I go back and forth on watching them and not watching them because everybody seems to have a season where it's like they're the person that gets bullied by the rest of the cast. And then they turn it around and then they have their redemption season. And then after that, it's somebody else's turn and it's just gross. It's like I can't stand that when everybody's against somebody, but they know that that's what works for ratings. They know that people are no longer fucking with Sutton. They know that Sutton is so incredibly desperate to fit in with those girls and that those girls do not see Sutton as one of them. And so Spirit is saying that production had already decided that they were going to try to, put Sutton in a space where she kind of has to go up against everybody by herself. And so what I'm getting is that there may have been talks about maybe having Garcelle be more of a friend of than a full-time cast member. But those had already been taking place behind the scenes, and then it was mentioned to her after the reunion when there was, talks about, okay, you left and what's going on. And that was just, she was already ready to quit anyways. And then it was like, oh, you're going to downgrade me? Hell no. We're not doing that. Why would I come back just to be a friend of, but still go through the same shit? So that was definitely a key where she was just like, I already was planning on coming back anyways, but now you really made up my mind. If I've probably said this on the other 2 videos that I did about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and this is probably going to be my last Real Housewives video for quite a while. Sutton needs to read the room and understand that she's not strong enough to be on a show like this, and that she will be absolutely annihilated. And I think that Sutton was already trying to align herself with Erica by making that comment about, oh, I was so surprised how me and Erica became friends. And, we get along so well and we have such a good time together. And it was like, when did you and Erica get along and have a good time together? Because I must have not paid enough attention this season when I was watching the show. Because I didn't see any heartwarming moments between Sutton and Erica where it's like, okay, that makes sense. But she thinks that by befriending the scariest person on the cast, like that's going to somehow get her in good with the Fox Force 5 and also save her from being annihilated, but it's not. Erica already told everybody that she doesn't give a fuck about anybody but herself when they were talking about orphans and widows. So, like, Sutton. And that's the other thing that just like annoys me about these shows too. I know it's entertainment, but it's like in real life, if somebody sat there and told you, shut the fuck up, like over and over, you would never talk to that bitch again. You wouldn't be sitting there 3 seasons later being like, oh my God, I can't believe we're best friends now. And you will be like, I'm never talking to that hoe again, and it's on site when I see her, right? At least that's how I feel like I would be. Like, you told me to shut the fuck up, and multiple times, like, you're lucky to pop you in the damn face. So, I mean, let's not go around doing that to people, but you know what I mean. So, Spirit is saying that, that is not going to save Sutton whatsoever, and Erica does not give a fuck enough about Sutton to sit there and be up her ass or protect her or anything like that. Even if Erica thought it was going to give her all the camera time in the world, secure her for another 10 seasons and make her a shit ton of money, she would not be able to pull that off. Okay? Like, Erica played a real long game when it came to Tom Girardi and pretending like she loved that man. She's not capable of it when it comes to Sutton. So Sutton's definitely playing a dangerous game there, thinking that that's going to help her. The last thing about all of this that Spirit's saying is, I feel like in a couple years, we're going to see Garcelle back on Bravo with her own reality show, kind of like what happened with Denise Richards, where Denise got ran off by the Fox Force 5 and now has her own little reality show that's covering her life and everything. So we will get to see that. Garcelle will be producing it. She'll be in charge of what gets to be shown and what not is shown. I don't think that it's something that's going to go on forever. I think maybe we get 2 or 3 seasons out of it. But she'll be, and the only reason why I see her agreeing to do it or wanting to do it is because she's going to be looking at it as not only is it sort of redemption, but also like a, suck on this, you mean assholes, because look at me over here. Like, I have a new man. My kids are doing great. I'm working, and so she's using it to shut everybody up, but also promote everything that she has going forwards. I feel like Sutton is still going to try to be her friend. I don't feel Garcelle like completely kicking her to the curb, but I feel like it will definitely get watered down to acquaintances. Only because they have so many mutual friends in common. So it's like, I already know, like, if I go to a party at Kathy Hilton's house, I'm probably going to see Sutton there. If I go to a certain red carpet event or a fashion show or something, the chances of running into her are going to be high. And it's like, I don't think she hates Sutton. I think that she sees Sutton as incredibly broken, but also very self-centered. And it's like, yeah, I have an understanding of where that came from. However, Sutton is so stuck in, I want things to be a certain way for me in my life. However, she's perpetuating and doing the same things to other people that she claims, that she doesn't want done. So it's like, she's sitting there crying about wanting Kyle's acceptance, and Kyle doesn't stand up for her, and Kyle doesn't do this for her. But then Sutton obviously turns around and treats Garcelle exactly the same way that Kyle treats Sutton in a sense. And so I think that Garcelle has just realized, like, that's not somebody that's really, truly a friend, because she is incapable of being that, being as broken down as she is. And that's something that she has to work on for herself. And I can't fix that for her. I can't do anything about it. It's just better that I distance myself, but still, let her go with love, basically. But Garcelle has so much good stuff coming for her. Oh my goodness. See, this is where it's like sometimes we have to recognize when it's important to walk away from something, and when an opportunity may have only been there just to get us to our next place in life, but we don't have to hold on to something just because it was there, because sometimes it can end up blocking us. So good for you, Garcelle. I'm excited to see what you have in store for you. So make sure you guys like the video, leave a comment down below, and let me know, what did you think of Garcelle leaving? We also now have email readings available on the website, and I am raising money to move out of my mold-infested place and not be sick all the damn time anymore. So if you'd like to help out with that, you can go to psychicbellelove.com and use code MOVE at checkout for 50% off, including the new email readings or any other reading appointment that you are interested in. And I hope that everybody has a good one. I love y'all so much, and I will talk to you later. Bye.